All right. Thank you everyone for joining today. We'll kick things off now. Appreciate you checking out the webinar, and hopefully today's overview is helpful for you. As mentioned in the outline of the webinar, today's focus is really going to be on just the basics of Backbar, focusing on taking inventory. We'll touch on ordering, and we'll kick things off with how to add items and set up your account, and just give you a little bit more information on tips to get your products into Backbar, so you're able to take inventory. Over the next couple weeks, we'll have a few more webinars that are lined up and scheduled. One is going to be for point of sale integration. So if you have a point of sale that integrates with Backbar, we'll be hosting a webinar and just setting that up and managing reports. And then we'll also have another webinar that's focused on some of the paid plan features we have on our essential and professional plan. So just to kick things off, I wanted to give those of you who are brand new to Backbar just a quick overview, an introduction to our software and our company. So we launched in 2019 at the Chicago Restaurant Show for the National Restaurant Association. And we have slowly kind of built out a more robust program. Our initial focus was on beverage inventory. On Backbar, you can manage beverage inventory, food inventory, really anything that you sell, or non-sale items, paper goods, supplies in Backbar. So it's not restricted to beverage. We also provide a beverage management ordering tool, so you can place orders with vendors or manage invoices and orders that you receive in Backbar. And we also have tools related to costing functionality, so building out drink recipes, item costing, and then reporting on all of those different features and functions. So a lot of users come to us looking for an inventory solution, and then slowly build in and add new functionality into their operations that we offer. So we do have a mobile app as well as a web app. Most of our functionality can be used and found across each device. There are some benefits to the mobile app versus the web, and vice versa. The web is really great for getting set up, adding in your products, loading in items, and also for viewing reports and more kind of administrative duties. So if you signed up through the app, I would definitely suggest checking out the web version at backbar.app. Just to get familiar with what's offered there. And then the mobile app is really designed just to be a lightweight tool to help you enter in inventory counts really quickly. You can build and place orders. A lot of the action items are easy to execute on the mobile app, while again, some of that data review and admin operations are a little bit easier on the web version. So let's dive into the actual products. We'll jump over and start on the web, and I can show you some things on the mobile app a little bit later as well. I am going to reserve some time at the end just to answer some questions. So if things pop up, there's a text question field you can fill out. So send those as they come, and then we'll circle around to those at the end and just have a little Q&A section. All right, so what we're looking at right now is the Backbar dashboard. So as you start to use the product more of this data will fill out. So on the left-hand side, we have a calendar, which you can see, this is pulled up for today. So you can see if there was orders received or inventory sessions that were closed. If you do have upcoming orders, you can click through the calendar for future dates if you're expecting orders. Or have plans for taking inventory. You can also just see dollar value for orders this month, low inventory items, which are just items that are below your par levels that are set, excess inventory that's well over par levels that you've set, inventory value on hand, days since inventory. So this is a helpful just snapshot of what's going on in your account. You can also find this on the mobile app, and then the main inventory item management hub is under inventory, and then click inventory items. And you'll come to this page here. So you can manage your items from this location on here. This table is useful. You can see, bottle size, vendor, your cost on hand, par levels if you have them, what your current quantity on hand is. So this number will be updated when you take an inventory session, and that session, this quantity number will update. if you have point of sale integration, as you log sales transactions, we'll pull depletions based on sales and update your inventory quantities in real time. And then this number will also update if you log an order into Backbar. So if we ordered a new case of this 13 Celsius Vineyards, Grigio, that the quantity would update by 12 bottles or 6 bottles, however many are in the case. And then all those transactions are also logged here. This little file icon, if you click into that, this is an item history. So this is really helpful just to keep tabs on your account. If there's, maybe a report, the data looks incorrect, or it looks like, sales transactions aren't being logged, you can come here and see, when an inventory session was taken. Maybe this shouldn't have been, entered as 0. Someone entered the wrong count or forgot to count it. So you can go back and make edits to the information and update that so your data and numbers are looking correct. So this is just, a handy tool to view the history of all transactions for an item. On this page here, you can also do bulk actions. So you can click the check marks here to select multiple items, or click those to select items on that top checkbox to click all the items on this page. And then there's different actions you can take. So you can set tags if you're on the professional plan. So the tags are these little blue letters here. So if you wanted to organize, your items, like this wine is a by the glass wine, you could, organize that in a report to look at, your cost of goods on hand for, all your by the glass wines, or all the inventory on hand for those items, or set up well or brunch drinks, just to track and have a little bit more control over organization of reports or inventory lists. You can also transfer items, set par levels, set vendors, units per case, or do a bulk delete of items on this page, and filter out items if you want to view them by certain types. So for type, Backbar uses beer, spirit, wine, other item to refer to type, and then subtype is all beer styles, wine varietals, vodka, whiskey. Those are like the subtypes for spirits. Just to be a little bit familiar with the parlance here. One thing to note, a common question we get when you signed up, if you're based in the US, you may have noticed that we're able to load in a number of your products initially during the verification product. So that is part of a feature called Product Connect. We have partnerships with brands and suppliers, so we're able to pull some information based on past orders and load up that product information. So we'll try to pull the most recent costs, the vendor, bottle sizes, and those come through those partnerships. We don't have coverage for, full coverage for distributors or wholesalers. We don't have an entire portfolio. So there may be items that you have to add, to fill out your inventory list. So there's a couple ways to do that. One, you can go to add item, then do a manual add. So you can select if you want to add a wine, beer, spirit, or another item. If you're searching for, a beer, you can search for, use a search tool here, find the item from our database, or click here to create a new beer or a new whiskey. When you click into that item, we should have information loaded up like ABV, some producer information, description notes. So these are there as part of training tools. So if your bartenders or service staff have the Backbar app, when you add a new beer or new wine or new whiskey to your list, they'll be notified and have drink descriptions and just information to help them learn about the item and be able to sell on the floor. And then, of course, importantly, there's all the inventory information you'll need to add. So when you're setting up an individual item, you'd want to add unit cost for that item, the size of the item, which would be the size of the container, or the size of the bottle or can, or the size of the keg. So for this one, we can do a 12-ounce bottle, and then for our units per case, we'd want to put in 24. It'll calculate the case cost based off of that unit cost, and then we can also select our vendor here. Another way to add items is to scan the UPC, which is done from the app. So you can scan a barcode and pull up and retrieve items as well. And then if you want to, add inventory quantities for a newly received order, you can enter that quantity on hand and click Save here. Another option is to add in a spreadsheet. So I just clicked from inventory items. This is the easiest way to get bulk products in, particularly beverage products. But if you have a Excel spreadsheet of inventory products, you can click import and then load up the invoice or the spreadsheet that you have into our import wizard. Map the item columns, so you'll want to match name of the item to product name. If you have cost, you can map those columns there. If you had par levels, you can add that, and then when you go through, you can also add quantities on hand for previous inventories, and you can, if you set up inventory locations in Backbar, you can also add past location quantities, so you can start with a full inventory. So if you counted an inventory outside of Backbar at the end of April, you're just getting started, you could upload a spreadsheet with that April closing inventory, add in your quantities at location, and upload those products. So it'll just come into our spreadsheet wizard. We'll go through and try to suggest matches based off what's in our database. So if it's a correct match, you can just click here to accept. If you need to find a match, you can click find match. If there's no results, you can add a new item and just select the style of it, and search for your style here and click add, and then that will be added into your account. So this is the easiest way to get bulk products in. So once you've accepted or skipped items, if you don't want to skip it, if this was a product you no longer carry, you can click skip. You can also view your skipped items by clicking this link here, and you can re-add them back to your list if you want to. And then once this is finished, you'll go down and just click the finish button here, and that will load in your products into your account, and including all of that data that you appended to the item from the spreadsheet. And just a note, if you are going to use the import wizard, it just saves locally in your browser. So you can come back to finish it at a later date, but you'll want to be in the same browser on the same computer. It's kind of been like a limbo because the products aren't in Backbar, so it doesn't save in the account. So someone else couldn't log in from their computer to finish the spreadsheet for you. It's saved locally, so you'll want to reuse the same device and same browser when loading in products. Okay. So jumping over to taking inventory, once you have your items into your Backbar account, you'll want to take your first inventory session. So on this page, you'll be able to see past inventory sessions. On the basic plan, you're restricted to 6 months. You can reopen past inventory sessions to make edits or delete them from this page here. And if you want to start a new session, you'll come in, click Start New Session. You can add in or select your inventory locations that you've added to start counting. And then on this page, there's a few different things to note for just the lists that you're able to, or just how you can organize your list when taking inventory just to speed it up. Right now, you can see this custom button is selected. So I have a custom inventory list created that's dedicated to this main bar location. So you can create custom lists for each individual location just by clicking this wrench. This is something that you have to set up on the web version of Backbar. It is accessible from the mobile app when you're taking inventory, but the initial setup has to be done on the web here. So to do so, it'll just pull all your items in. By default, Backbar just adds all items to any inventory location. That way, if you don't want to create a custom list, you don't have to. Everything's in there for you. But if you do want a little bit more control and have hands-on maintenance for that, you could do so. So you can just select multiple items and then click over to click Move Selected, and those will be added. And then you can drag and drop to sort items. If we go back, we can see our list and our new products are added. So that's one way to sort your list, just to match your shelf layout and just reduce the number of items you may have to tap through or scroll through. You can also sort by type or by subtype. And then one nice feature is the last count feature. So Backbar will automatically remember the sequence that you counted items in. So when you start your first inventory session in Backbar, if you go through and try to match the shelf layout to the how you enter in your counts, the next time you take inventory, you can just select this last count option and we'll automatically sort it in that order. So it's a kind of way to create an easy to use list without manually creating a custom list. As I said before, we do add all items to each location. So if you use the last count feature and there's items that aren't relevant to a location, you can just click hide items not counted, and this will just reduce the list and keep this order for you. And then from here, Backbar uses a point system. So point 1, point 2, goes point 1 to 1. And for counting bottles, so you can enter in units here. If you wanted to, if you were just using the web, you can add in 0.5. You can also add in a case. So it's important to add your case totals. So you can just multiply that if you have 15 cases of Budweiser and you don't want to do that quick math while you're in the beer cooler. You can just punch in 15 and we'll do the math for you and total that up on the summary. Also on our mobile app, we have a bottle slider that you can use to count partial bottles. Unfortunately, my phone is not connecting to the computer. Usually I'll walk you through that bottle slider option. Unfortunately, yeah, I'm not able to connect right now to show you what that looks like, but it's a pretty simple concept. It has an image of the bottle, so a wine bottle or a spirit bottle, and you can just drag a bottle slider line to match the volume that's in the bottle, just to illustrate that for you. There was an image of it here, so you can see this is what it looks like. So for bottle of vodka, or if it's a bottle of wine, you can just drag this. It'll for a 0.5, if you put it halfway up the bottle, it would set that volume for you there, and then you can add additional units or additional cases to it as well. So once you finish a location and you're done counting, you can click finish here. It'll show the items that that were counted, when it was started, when it was ended. On our essential plan, you're able to have like our color-coded inventory, which has a little icon for different users that may have taken inventory, so you can see who counted which items and which locations. Then you can start into your your next location, enter in your counts, quickly go down and click finish, and then add in the locations that are necessary. Once you've done the full inventory, click review session, confirm. If it'll just let you know if some locations weren't counted. You have a review screen here, which will show you items that are missing counts. Obviously, we skipped a bunch, all the items, and then any items with negative usage. You can set the time and date for an inventory session. So if you did have to come back and edit a session, you reopened it to make an update because someone missed a case of Jack Daniels, you go back, add that. Just remember to reset the date to the correct time, and then you can click end session here, and that'll save it. Also, if you are just doing like a spot check for maybe you're taking inventory for mid-month orders and you only count 20 out of 100 items, and you want to keep those update those quantities that you counted but keep the previous inventory quantities, you can slide this over just to keep those. Otherwise it'll zero out any non-counted items, and then you'll end session. It'll process that, take you to this session summary. You can see some information like usage rate, or if you want to add items to orders, you can do that and build out orders based on your latest inventory and compare that to par levels. And then that inventory will now be saved on this screen, and it will also load up into inventory reports. So you're able to see things like, your inventory details on the reporting screen. So this one shows you, all item information, all the quantities on hand, all the value on hand. So this will be, even items that you didn't count. So this will pull everything up. All of our inventory and order reports, you're able to export into a spreadsheet. So if you do need to, share with accountant or someone that is a stakeholder but doesn't have an account with Backbar, you can export that and share it, or just save a local copy. We also have comparison reports, comparison overviews, just to see how inventory has changed over time. Depending on which plan you have access to additional reports like the usage details report, which will take into account inventory sessions and those counts plus orders received, to give you an account of how much you pour through on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. So that's really helpful just for setting par levels, knowing when you should reorder, or for variance reports to compare that usage detail to sales to see if there's any difference, if there's product loss happening, shrinkage for any reason. So these are all helpful tools just to review and track inventory and just how performance is going. Yeah, under inventory, you're also able to account for recipes. So if you want to build out cocktail recipes, you can do that. It's all based off of inventory items, so you'll have to, add your items from that are based in your items that are already loaded into your account. So if you want to add like lemon juice or simple syrup, you'll have to add that as an item or as another recipe, and then use those ingredients to add into your recipes. Similar to the recipe tracking, we have our drink price calculator. So on the basic plan, you're restricted to 1 ounce or 50 milliliters, whatever your basic pour size is. On our essential plan, you can adjust that. So for like a wine by the glass, you can set it to 5 ounces and adjust your glass pour, or if you change it to 6 ounces, it'll update your cost. You can set your pour cost that you're looking for. It'll give you a suggested menu price and a profit. You can also do the same for bottles, so bottles of beer, or set draft pour sizes on the single serving option as well, and then save that. So this is just a back of house tool that you can use to help cost. If you do have point of sale integration, just one note: this menu price doesn't update in your Toast point of sale, for example, and you don't need to have this necessarily match what is in Toast. It's just a tool for reference for back of house, and when you're bringing in new items or putting out a new menu, if it's a seasonal menu and you want to price new products out, you can use this tool to make sure you're turning profits on each sale. So switching gears slightly to the ordering side, under orders, there's a few different things you can do: build orders, order history. So within Backbar right now, the way that ordering works, if you want to place an order directly with a vendor, you can do so as long as you can place that order with a sales rep through email. So right now we just email out orders. There's no text message. And we don't currently sync with order portals. That is, coming down the road. But right now, in terms of actually placing orders through our system, you'll want to set up, vendor reps. So if you go to manage vendors under this order screen, you can, select your vendor, add in information that you want. If there's any vendor notes, you can enter those. If you have a order cutoff time, you can set that up, and that will send you order reminders a few hours before that cutoff, just to remind you to get those in. That's something you can choose to turn on or off with this little checkbox here. And then you just want to add in your vendor contact and an email address. And then when you are ready to start placing orders, you can go to build orders. You can select a vendor from the vendor cards up here to filter through, or you can look at all vendors. You can also choose to filter via status. So if you want to see only items that are below par or out of stock, you can do so. And then from here, it's very similar to how we walked through entering in your inventory counts. You'll just order. You'll add in the order quantity, set if you're ordering a case or a bottle, and then you can just go through and add in your orders here. And then when you go to review cart, you'll be able to sell or send in those orders. So if you wanted to, you can select which vendors you want to send to, click place all orders. If you're below the minimum spend, you'll get a notification here. So you can set minimum spends for your orders on that manage vendor page, and you can decide if it's worth hitting that minimum, or if you want to choose to hold off on ordering this week and order the following week, you can do that. And then once you hit that spend, that warning symbol will go away, and you'll be able to place the order. So once you click place order, it'll get sent out via email. Your reps will receive a purchase order. You'll also receive a copy of that purchase order, so you'll have a record of the order going through, and then you'll be taken to the order history page, which you can access from here, and the order will be created. From here, you can process that order. Once you receive an invoice, you can upload an invoice here. On our basic and essential plans, this is all a manual process. On our professional plan, this is something that we automate. So if you upload an invoice, we'll automatically enter in the items from that invoice, the cases, quantities, all of the pricing information, and that way you just don't have to do that manually. So you'll be able to track cost changes, incoming orders, and you'll get more data from reports like usage rates that utilize the purchases. So in addition to adding in item information, you can also add in and track costs that aren't dedicated to an item, like keg deposits you can account for, or taxes, shipping, delivery fees. So you can enter in these additional line items here, and that way you can track your true spend without impacting the actual item costs. And then once you're done here, you can click confirm order received, and these new quantities will be added to your inventory items page. So I mentioned this quantity number here on this inventory items table will be updated by inventory sessions, point of sale transactions, and orders. So if we go back to our item history log, we can see this order here for today, the new bottles, the unit cost, and the total, and who it was received by. So that kind of syncs up all of your inventory data, keeps things as up to date as possible, so your inventory on hand is accurate. It gives you just a better view into how products are moving through your business. So yeah, I know that was a good amount of information to go over in a relatively short time. So just to note, we do have a help center and videos that provide a lot of information on some of the topics we talk about today, some additional ones as well. So if you just click on this little question mark icon on the web, or if you go into settings and click help center on the app, it'll take you here. So you can see there's different articles, onboarding guides, and there's also video tutorials. So just an in-depth walkthrough over things like importing spreadsheets, how to take inventory, how to place orders, creating recipes, or integrating your point of sale system. So a good amount of help support here. And then you can also contact our help center, which is just contacted via email by clicking to submit a support ticket here. But I wanted to leave some time to answer any questions that came through. So if anyone has anything they want me to go back over, or anything I didn't cover that you wanted to know more about, happy to take the time to walk through that and answer those. It's generally beneficial for everybody, just to get more insight into the system, and learn a little bit more. So yeah, any questions, feel free to send them over. Doesn't look like anything's coming in right now, so hopefully that means it was a thorough presentation. Yeah, I know we have a few more minutes here, so if there's just trying to think if there's anything else I should walk through and cover for you. If you are considering point of sale integration, you can do so. That's something that's also kicked off from the web, so you'll want to sign into backbar.app and go to dashboard. Right now we integrate with Toast, Square, and Clover. We're currently in the process of setting up an integration with Shift4 and a number of their point of sale systems. So if you're part of the Shift4 family, we should have an integration up and running over the next month or so. But for setting up point of sale, you'll come here, and depending on your point of sale system, you'll click continue, select that from our list here, and then follow different prompts. So for Toast, for example, you'll log into Toast Partner Connect. The integration setup is easy. You'll just enter in a location ID once you select the Backbar app, and then that will connect your systems. You'll come back here, click connect, and then you'll be able to start mapping your items. Mark has a question. For food inventory, is it automated too or all manual? So food is going to be a little bit more manual than the beverage is. So some of our partnerships are on the beverage side with brands and suppliers. So everything that we walked through today, you can do with food and beverage. So you can upload items through the import wizard. We don't have a beverage database, so you'll just have to create those individual items, manually. But you can, still just the item names, but you can still upload a spreadsheet that has, cost, vendor, sizing information. So you don't have to add all of that individually. But that will be kind of the most manual part, is just that initial setup. And then once you're set up, the act of taking inventory, managing inventory is the same. You can place orders. We have a number of users who manage their food inventory and place orders with US Foods or Cisco. So that's all managed the same as well, in addition to like costing, or you can create food recipes in addition to cocktail and beverage recipes. So it's generally just the initial setup that is a little bit more manual. Another question about Heartland POS. So we don't currently integrate with Heartland. That's something that we are planning on doing. We've been in talks with them, but it's just not something that's in process, but we are certainly looking to do that. So it should be in the near future. All right. Any other questions? Yeah, Shift4, their big point of sale is SkyTab. So if you use SkyTab, that is the next point of sale system that is going to be available. Well, if there are no other questions, we can end things here. I will send over a recording of this webinar this afternoon, so you'll have that if you want to review it or if you need to share it with any colleagues. But wanted to thank everybody for signing up and checking out the webinar today. We appreciate it, and thank you for your interest in Backbar. Feel free to, again, reach out to our support team if anything comes up as you're getting started with Backbar. we're happy to help and keep an eye out for some of the upcoming webinars just to get more training in on the system. Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.